Hi, this is Brad Strahler with Jacksonville Life. Today with us we have Lisa Franklin, founder and CEO of Alpha Omega Miracle Home. Lisa, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Brad. It's a privilege.
No, we appreciate it. Can you share with our listeners what Alpha Omega Miracle Home residents look like, specifically the typical mother and the typical senior?
Our typical mother is usually either pregnant or with a child, and sometimes she's pregnant and also already has a child. So typical is 18 to 28, a mother of one or two children, and facing homelessness, facing nowhere to turn to, and looking for some hope. Our senior women are 60 or older, and they're kind of in the same situation. You would never think of that growing up and raising your family, that you could find yourself in a situation that you have nowhere to go and no one to turn to.
Yeah, before we met, that never even crossed my mind about senior women and not having the basics. I do want to go back to the single mother, because on our line we have Sierra. And Sierra, you there with us?
Yes.
Great. Thank you for calling in. Wanted to ask you about your experience at the Omega Miracle Home.
Yes. I was a 17-year-old pregnant teenager, and like Miss Lisa said, I had no hope, and I felt like I had no future. And I was lonely, and I was lost, and lost spiritually. I grew up in a Christian home, and I was still lost. I was very defiant, and I was sent to Alpha Omega Miracle Home, and it was wonderful. It was absolutely amazing.
That's great. That's great. Now, how long were you with them?
I was there for, I want to say, around 7 months.
And how did you learn about their services?
My dad was stationed at Camp Landing, and my parents told me I was going to go, and I met with Miss Lisa, and I was hesitant at first, but she was very welcoming and accepting, and I found Christ through Alpha Omega Miracle Home, and I have a better life and a better future, and I found hope, and I found God. And it's great. My life has totally changed.
Amen. Now we hear someone in the background.
Yes, I have 4 kids now. Wow. I have a 10-year-old, I have a 9-year-old, I have a 6-year-old, and I have a 4-year-old, and I'm currently watching 2 other kids right now.
Oh, my goodness.
I love children, but yes, I have 4 beautiful children, and they're great.
No, that is a blessing. I appreciate you sharing. Lisa, you have something you want to ask Sierra?
Sierra, what does your life look like now compared to 10 years ago, 11 years ago? Where are you with your life at this point, your family? What does it look like?
Yes, so about 10, 11 years ago, almost 11 now, I was into drugs and alcohol and some other things that I shouldn't have been dealing with, and I did not know Christ at all. I was lost, and I was lonely, and I had no one to turn to, and the friends I were involved with, I couldn't even speak to them. I still felt lost and lonely, and so again, I did become pregnant, and I went to the maternity home, and now I have a new life. I am completely changed and transformed through Christ. I love Christ, and I love to speak about God, and I can give that to my children. They know Christ, and they share His love as well from me and from Miss Lisa and all the other wonderful women at the maternity home who gave me that. And it's completely changed, and my mind's changed. My life's just so much better.
And I was sharing with Brad before we went on air, Sarah, just this summer I got to spend some time with you, and it's been a while since I got to spend time with you, and how well behaved your children were, and how exciting it was to hear that now you have a master's degree in family counseling. And I was sharing with him about the story you shared with me, where you are married to now I'm trying to think. He's in the Navy, correct?
Army, yes.
Army. And how you were moved from time to time, and as you were moved, how God would place you with families that did not have faith and did not believe even in a God. And how frustrating it was in some ways, but then how you just kind of made you smile and say, all right, God, you're using me to speak into other non-believers' life. So that touched my heart more than even the education, was that you're able now to share Christ's love to others.
Yes, it was really funny. I didn't recognize it at first, and that's really funny that you brought that up. I totally forgot about that. But every time we have moved 9 times now, 9 times in 9 years. And every time we've moved, I've had a next door neighbor or, acquaintance living around me that just doesn't know Christ. And at first I was really frustrated. I was like, God, why are you doing this? Why are you putting these people around me? But now I have to laugh at God. I'm like, oh, you were so funny. You're using me and continually using me, which he should be. We should be used daily. And sharing Christ is not easy, and it shouldn't be easy. Otherwise, everybody would be Christians. But that's why it's amazing to sharing is not easy, but you have to get out of your comfort zone and share. And so I just have to laugh sometimes at God and I just think it's funny that he puts us in these situations, but God can use us anywhere and any time.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, thank him for his wisdom. Now see, if someone's listening and they're 17 years old, they're pregnant, what would you want them to know?
You can do it. You can do anything that you want to. And God loves you, and other people love you. And we're all here for you, praying for you. And you are a very strong person. I'm sorry, I don't mean to get teary-eyed, but you can do it. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. God's there with you, and you can pull through, and you can do it. You can get through this, and your life is not over. You have hope, and you have a future.
That's right.
And you have love. God is love, and you have God, and he is always there for you, whether you think it or not. He is there for you. He's waiting for you to cry out to him.
That's wonderful, Sierra. We can't thank you enough for the time and your dedication and sharing your family with us this morning and your experience. Thank you again for doing this for us, and anything that we can ever help you with, please let us know.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for jumping on so quick, Sierra, when I threw out that little message today and said, hey, I'm going on the radio show. I sent it out to a few of you and just said, call in, just reach out to us and share what God's done in your life and through Alpha Omega. So thank you. Thank you for the great mom
thank you so much. Thank you for thinking of us.
Thank you. God bless. Wow. How do we transition from a great story and testimony like that? Something I wanted to ask is about going back to the seniors. We talk with Sierra, and we know about the typical mothers. What about the seniors? That's different than what we hear from a lot of homes.
Yes, what's really remarkable about Alpha Omega is that we take the single moms and we place them in an apartment with a senior citizen woman. And our seniors come to us through different situations. Most of them was sleeping in their car for the first time. They have been caregivers. They are a widow. God calls us to care for the fatherless and the widows, and that's what we believe Alpha Omega is doing, is reaching out to those and giving them a safe environment where they can have a step-by-step program to get on their feet. Our seniors can stay for as long as they need us. So some of our seniors have been with us for 6 and 7 years now, and so it's just really remarkable to see them come in hopeless, devastated, not knowing how they got in the situation they're in. It just kind of sneaks up, and before they know it, either their husband passed away, they do not have a retirement or a savings, and they realize that they're feeling completely empty and not knowing what they're even on this earth for. And then you bring in the young ladies, you bring in their children, and it gives them hope, and it makes them realize that they're valued, they're much needed, and they're loved. And so when you step on Alpha Omega's property, you're going to see a senior walking around, you're going to see the children, you're going to see moms, and it's just a beautiful sight of what God's really called us to do, is be there for each other.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Today we have with us Lisa Franklin, founder and CEO of Alpha Omega Miracle Home. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to hear more stories and how we can assist in the future. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Are you or someone you know struggling with the emotional or spiritual pain of having experienced an abortion? A Rachel's Vineyard Weekend Retreat is a beautiful opportunity to experience the mercy, healing, and peace of Jesus, who is close to the brokenhearted. Please visit www.rachelsvineyard.org or call 904-221-3232 or email rachelsvineyardjacks@yahoo.com. Be not afraid. Come and be restored.
Hi, this is Brad Straley with Jacksonville for Life. We were listening with Lisa Franklin, founder and CEO of Alpha Omega Miracle Home. And before the break, we were talking about your senior program. Can you tell us just a little bit more about how someone that, I hate to say it sound that sensitive, but how can someone, end up being in their golden years and all of a sudden no residence, no house, no retirement, no savings, no nothing. That just, getting close to that golden years, that sort of scares me. Give me some reassurance.
Now, what happens, Brad, is as we're young, we never think that we're going to get old. It seems like we have older people around us and we think, wow, they're old and we're young. Before you know it, the 30s and the 40s and the 50s passes by. The young lady I'm speaking of, I call her a young lady, one of our senior young ladies, that I'm thinking of right now is found herself with her husband having an illness and passing away before they retired. And they did not have anything in place, and they did not have a life insurance in place. And so she found herself sleeping from couch to couch. And when she contacted us, she was on her niece and nephew's couch, and realizing that that was not a permanent place for her. With a $687 income a month for Social Security, not only are you trying to meet your co-pays and medical expenses and just day-to-day food, and you're having to figure out a way to save enough to find a place to live and then to be able to afford a place to live on that income. And then place yourself in a situation that you're looking for a job and you don't have stable housing. So how do you go in and represent a strong, competent staff member in that interview when you're not sure of where your tomorrow is going to be? So we bring them in. We share our love. We encourage them. We remind them that God still has a plan for them. They are surrounded by other young ladies and children and realize, again, just how valued they are and how much they're still needed and how much they can give back Our seniors have done everything from teaching them to cook homemade biscuits, beans and rice, and how you spread your dollar through having a pot of beans and rice versus McDonald's. It's amazing the wisdom that these young ladies have. So they pass down their life experiences to these young ladies, and they are so valued at Alpha Omega.
I cannot imagine how much of a blessing it is for those young mothers that are, like Sierra said, didn't think they had a future, they had no hope. Now they have a place to stay and have an experienced woman not only say, I was there too 50 years ago, but by the way, here's 50 years of knowledge and experience I can share with you in the next, while you're here.
Yes, and Alpha Omega, what we really do is we provide safe housing in a nurturing environment with a step-by-step program that allows our young ladies to really get on their feet, get the education they need to be able to find the job that they can truly take care of their children, and not be looking for that first man that looks their way as a provider, but to be able to be a provider on their own and wait for the right man to come into their life and their children's life.
Now, I was on your website, and for those listening, what is the address?
It's www.aomh.org. So www.aomh for Alpha Omega Miracle Home.org. And they can find a lot of information about Alpha Omega on our website.
I wanted to ask you about what on your website talks about the envision the future.
Yes, we have purchased a little over 6 acres close to First Coast Technical College in St. Augustine. That's right off of State Road 16. And we are going to build a campus there that will be able to house so many more residents on that property. And it will be in a safe, secure area. It is amazing. Last year we housed 87 young ladies, seniors, and children. And we receive an average of 25 calls a week. So we need to broaden Alpha Omega. We need to be able to house more people as they call us and in need. So we just are always looking for partners to be able to do that.
Right. Now I saw that over 80% of homeless people are single mothers.
They are, and we visualize a homeless person standing on the side of the road, or sleeping in a camp in the woods. Seniors and single moms do the same thing. They're not out on the side of the street because they do not want to lose custody of their children. So they're hiding. They're hiding in the cars. They're hiding in storage units. They are not wanting to be seen. They're scared that their children are going to be taken away from them, and that's the only thing that they truly care about at that moment, is to take care of their child and have them in their custody and not lose that.
I can imagine. How do you guys get funded? I mean, this all sounds very expensive.
It is, Brad, and I always have to give credit 100% to God. He funds us in ways that I cannot imagine. So we are funded we have 2 thrift stores. We have one in St. Augustine on San Marco Avenue by the D&B School. We also have one in Jacksonville on the south side. That's real close to Bay Meadows. It's 8411 Southside Boulevard. And we're always looking for people to donate, people to come shop, and people to come and volunteer. We're always needing volunteers. Actually, Brad, right now we're looking for someone for about 20 hours a week for merchandising. So if someone is listening, please go by the store and see if you might be that person that we're looking for.
Great. Now, is there a number they can call if they have questions?
There is 904-814-7486. That's 904-814-7486. That is the manager of both locations, and his name is Charles.
Very good. Now, help the listeners understand the importance when we're talking about donations, and obviously everyone likes that home run check that'll just pay for everything. But, help people understand, why is it so important for your monthly donors to...
Yes, we do fundraisers. We also have our thrift stores, but our number one goal is to build up that monthly support. It can be $10, $25, $100, $500. We need to be able to count on that monthly support so that we can continue to provide for our residents that counselor. We have a licensed mental health counselor that does group counseling with us each week with their young ladies, also with our seniors, and she does individuals. You have to have the right staff in order to truly help them with their goals, and all of that takes funding. And so monthly supporters is so valuable to Alpha Omega. You might not be able to put your hands and feet to the plow and be there day to day, but through a $10 or $25 donation every month, that makes a huge difference for us to continue this work.
Great. What about churches and civic groups?
We love to have partners of churches and civic groups. They can provide us with doing a fundraiser at their church and donating those funds to Alpha Omega. We love to come speak at churches. In St. Augustine, Jacksonville, we'll go anywhere that we're able to go and share what God is doing at Alpha Omega. So come have a work day. There's just so many ways that they can join in and be a partner.
Great. Now, if someone is a church member or part of a civic group, how can they get in touch and learn more?
Yes, our office number is 904-823-8588. That's 904-823-8588. They can go to our website, again, www.aomh.org. They can go to YouTube and pull up Alpha Omega and look at our video and see the lives that are being changed. We have a beautiful video that was just completed by Advantage Design Group, and they just did a remarkable job in sharing who Alpha Omega is.
That is fantastic. Again, if you're just tuning in, we're speaking with Lisa Franklin, founder and CEO of Alpha Omega Miracle Home. Lisa, one last question. Why did you do this? Why did you start this? What made you?
Yes, as a child, I grew up, Brad, in a Christian home. It was stable. I've never heard my mom and dad fight. I'm sure they had disagreements, but they did not do that in front of children. The greatest gift any parent can give to their children is not to have arguments in front of their children. But as I grew up, I just felt like they were very strict and would not allow me to date. So I snuck around through the help of a family member and seen a boyfriend. And during that time, I ended up pregnant. We actually talked about if I got pregnant, my parents wouldn't keep us apart. We're talking age 15. What was we thinking? Of course, I have a beautiful son from that. And as the years went by, that kind of took me away from my faith for about 12, 13 years. And when I came back to my faith, I was really praying, Lord, how can I give back? Thank you for protecting me during those years that I just was not being wise. And he placed this in my heart. And I said that night, Lord, if this is you, I can do it. If it's not you, please don't let me. And just by sharing the story, that was back in 93. In 99, we opened our first home. And God has just sent some remarkable people to stand by me and to be part of Alpha Omega. So we're still looking for more people to stand with us and continue the work that God's doing through Alpha Omega in these beautiful lives.
Fantastic. We are out of time. I want to thank you so much for joining us today and for all you do to promote a culture of life. I'd like to thank the station for being faithful to His Word and this opportunity. And thank you for listening today. For more information about local pro-life efforts, please visit us at jacksonvilleforlife.org. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And until next time, do something, save babies in Jacksonville.